I'm just going to give kind of a few tips on traveling abroad by yourself. So the first thing is deciding on where to go. You're like, okay, I feel like going away, but I'm flexible on dates and location. I will usually just go into Skyscanner or Mozondo and put in my local airport, or just put in London, and then search all destinations and search for a month, and then see what flights come up and what is kind of affordable and what's within my budget. I would start with, if it's your first trip, I would start with traveling quite local to where you are, so that you're in an environment that you're kind of familiar with. So, for example, I would start with traveling in your own country. So there's plenty of cities I haven't been to within the UK. I've never been to Scotland, and I've never been to, well, I've been to the Republic of Ireland. I've not been to Northern Ireland. So there's plenty that I can still see in the UK. That being said, there's plenty of countries I've not been to within Europe. That's half an hour away, by plane an hour away, a couple hours away. And the culture across Europe, there are differences, but there are a lot of similarities. And then if you're feeling more confident, you can try what I do in terms of just looking at flights everywhere and then seeing if there's something that suits your fancy. Once you kind of have a couple of places that you want to go, or you kind of decided, oh, this looks like a good place, I would check visas first. Do you need any vaccinations? And then check your government travel website just to see if there are any important issues that you kind of need to be aware of. So, for example, if they have any travel warnings to that country. And also, what is the current political climate? I think that's very important to check before you travel anywhere. So last year in September, I actually traveled to Hong Kong. I spent by myself, and it's obviously what the situation was back then and what it currently is now at the time of recording this video is that there's a lot of political unrest and there are daily protests. So the issue was, in the area that I was staying in, there were protests happening every single night. I was never in any real danger, but there was an air of uneasiness, which I noticed when I first arrived. But the next few nights, things did kind of escalate in terms of police presence and the sheer volume of people that were around. So overall, I still had a really fabulous time in Hong Kong, but I'm not going to lie, there were a few scary moments. But that being said, I was only met with kindness and patience when I interacted with the Hong Kong citizens. But I would bear that in mind next time I should decide to travel somewhere, or if I know that there's political unrest. I think when I booked the tickets, things were pretty calm in Hong Kong at the time. But if things change, you also need to be flexible in changing your plans, and that's probably what I should have done. So once you've decided on a location, I usually have a few places in mind. I then go on to check accommodation. If I'm traveling by myself, it is imperative that my hotel is in a centrally located place. So, for example, if I'm coming back, not even late at night, but just say the sun sets at 6 o'clock. I'm having dinner at 6, so just say I have an early dinner. By the time I finish dinner and make my way back to the hotel, it's already dark. I need to be in a place where it's not desolate, that I can easily get to, that if I'm walking back to the hotel, like I've got off that street, it's well lit. That's very important for me. So when I check hotel reviews, I check locations. In TripAdvisor and actually most of the booking sites, so with booking.com, you can filter the reviews, so you can look at what people say about location. You can see the average score of location. There's also Google Maps. You can go onto the street view in Google Maps and have a look around and see if that's a place which is centrally located. And it's also important that if it's a day where I don't feel like doing anything, and maybe later on I just need to pop to the shops or go out to get something to eat, I can just walk across the road and get something to eat. That's really important when you're by yourself. Another thing with accommodation, I always go for hotels over apartments or Airbnbs, and that's just because there's always somebody around in hotels. Most hotels are manned 24/7, so if you're unwell, if you need directions, if you just need someone to talk to, there is somebody there. Whereas most of the time with Airbnb, you might not even meet the host. They might just have somebody there to clean the apartment, and you might not even meet them either. Kind of left to your own devices. That's nice when you're with a group or in a place that you're familiar with, but when you're by yourself, sometimes it's not the best. Even if, just say for example, I hate cockroaches. Sometimes that's inevitable. I try to stay at places that don't have cockroaches, but even in 5-star hotels I stay, that some of them have had roaches. It's just the climate or whatever else. Maybe they haven't been that great at cleaning. I don't know. If there's a roach in an apartment, there's nobody I can call to get rid of that roach. If there's a roach in my room, I can dial 0 reception and someone can come clear my room. If there's something wrong with my room, they can change the room, fix whatever that is. In your apartment, you're kind of left to yourself. Also in hotels, they tend to have security, so you are probably more safe in a hotel than in an Airbnb. That's just my opinion. The next thing I look at is how easy is it for me to navigate myself around that place? What are the public transportation links like? Is it easy for me to get public transportation? If not, how easy is it to get around by taxis? Are there lots of taxis around? How affordable are taxis? Do they have taxi hailing apps like Uber or Grab? Grab is really big in Asia. And those apps can be kind of a lifesaver in, where there is a language barrier trying to communicate where you're going. It's already put into the app. They can see where to pick you up from. They can see where they're dropping you off. The price is already fixed, so there's no negotiating. That just makes traveling so much easier. So those are the kind of main things that I look for when I'm deciding on a place. So now I'm getting a bit self-conscious of the people walking by watching me talk to myself like a mad woman. So I hope you found this video useful or you enjoyed this video, and subscribe, hit that notification bell. I release videos every week, and I will see you soon for the next video.